I'm sure you don't need me to tell you not to buy a home in an HOA, but here's a story just in case you do need me to tell you that you should not buy a home in an HOA. So we did. We live in a single family home neighborhood of like 170 houses, and it's a cute neighborhood. We love our home. And last September, I started building a playset in my backyard for my kids. And it's just a wood playset. We got it secondhand, so I replaced some of the rotted out parts with lumber from Lowe's, but it's very standard playset with like a swing set and a slide. And within a day of me starting to build it, I get a call from the president of our HOA, and I don't know how she got my phone number, but she called me and she's like, hey, I hear you guys are doing some construction in your backyard. What's the deal with that? And I was like, construction is a strong word. We're just building a playset. And she goes, oh, well, you need to submit a request for that. And I was like, oh, sorry, I didn't realize. But I'll totally do that. No big deal. And she's like, oh, all good, just mostly a formality, just make sure it's not violating any rules. And I said, oh, well, I checked the rules and I know it's not, so okay, cool, we'll submit it soon. And I just keep building it because I have a half-built playset and I got some toddlers running around, so I need to have it finished. So the next day, I get an email from the board that says in all caps, cease and desist construction immediately from the board. And it includes a photo of me in my backyard building the playset that was clearly taken from inside my neighbor's house because you can see her window in the photo. So I'm like, okay, so this neighbor is not as cool as I thought. Whatever. And so I submit the request right away and I'm like, oh, sorry, here it is. No big deal. And then I start checking the rules because I'm like, I can tell this is going to be a problem. And it says that if they don't respond to you within 30 days that it's deemed approved. But meanwhile, my neighbor who took the picture of me joins the board. And then I see the agendas coming out with like playset concerns and wanting to impose all these new rules on playsets. And I'm like, well, they didn't respond, so mine's already approved, so whatever. So then at probably the 3-month mark, I get an email and they're like, hey, we don't have enough information to approve your playset request. Can you give us all this information? Like really irrelevant information. There's no rules about any of this stuff, but they want to know the setback. They want to know what's underneath it, like stuff that is not set out in our rules at all. And so I'm like, no, they're trying to find a reason to deny my request. So I'm standing on business here and saying, actually, you guys didn't respond to me in the required time frame, and based on the rules, it says that it's automatically approved, so this should be resolved. And so they start arguing with me back and forth about why my request is invalid. And I'm arguing with them, citing these specific rules, being like, nope, I know how to read. This is what's going on. And they just keep coming up with bullshit about why it's invalid. And but they're not signing any of the emails. They're all like anonymous from the board. And so I was like, who's emailing me these things? Like just really bad faith interpretations of the rules and like just twisting things. And so I was like, this is crazy. And so I was going to post on our neighborhood Facebook page, not to be like inflammatory, but to just be like, does anyone else have a playset? Did you have any issues getting it approved? Blah, blah, blah. But the president of our HOA is the mod on the Facebook page. So when I try to post, she rejects my post. And she's like, no, we don't allow any discussion about board business on the Facebook page. And I'm like, okay. So it seems like she just doesn't want us to be able to talk to each other. So I have to go talk to my neighbors in person. And so I started talking to my neighbors and I'm like, hey, what's the deal with this? Like, this is weird. And then I start getting a bunch of information about how a lot of people are having an issue with this specific woman on the board of the HOA. And meanwhile, I'm still getting harassing emails threatening me with thousands of dollars in fines if I don't either resubmit my request or take the playset down. And so I'm like, fuck this lady, no. And so I make a second Facebook page because I was like, they can't stop us from talking about stuff in our neighborhood. They don't own Facebook, so let's just create another page that people can say whatever they want in. So we created a new page, and then we started inviting some of our neighbors to it, and it spreads like wildfire. Like 100-something people, like in a couple days, join this page, and a lot of people are posting about stuff that they are pissed about. And so the board freaks out. They hire an attorney to start reviewing the Facebook posts because they're concerned about liability and defamation. And And then they hire this attorney to write some scary memo to us about how joining a Facebook page to talk about HOA business is a huge liability to the association and we could all be sued and blah, blah, blah. And it's all bullshit. And then they also hire this attorney to come to the next board meeting to give some scary speech trying to say the same thing. Meanwhile, they're spending the HOA's money, our money, on this attorney to do this shit. So things start to like get progressively worse. Board elections happen, some new people are elected into the board, and this one woman who everyone has a problem with, now that people are finally talking shit about her, she like bails and she's like, I'm not going to do this anymore. She gives this huge dramatic speech at the last board meeting. She's yelling at people on the call, like it was crazy. She's like got a huge glass of wine, like it was crazy. And so but I'm still getting these harassing emails. And I know it's from her. She's not signing them. She's just signing the board. But the tone, like, the distorted logic, like, I know it's from her. And there's some other shit going on that's, like, borderline criminal behavior. Actually, allegedly criminal behavior that I won't talk about on here. But, so there's other stuff going on. And so I emailed the board and I'm like, hey, she's not a board member anymore. Are you guys still giving her access to all this stuff? Does she still have access to like the bank accounts and the email and like what's going on? How are you handling the transition? Can you confirm for me that her access has been revoked? And they don't respond. And I'm like, okay, well, if you guys don't respond to me, I'm just going to take this to the rest of the neighborhood and I'm going to call for all of you guys to be removed because this is kind of crazy. And I'm not going to put up with being harassed. And they don't respond. And so I go to our Facebook page and I was like, hey guys, wasn't gonna drag people on here, but this is what's been going on with me and this is why I feel like none of the people on the board are equipped to like have this responsibility. I think we should call for them all to be removed. And if you agree with me, here's an email template. You can send it to this email address in order to call for removal of all the remaining board members. I think we should start fresh because of a number of other issues that were going on. And within like 2 days, we get the required number of requests for a call for removal. And which is like 18 people, 18 homes. It's like not a small number of people. And so the management company schedules it, and at that point, everyone on the board is like, they're like, okay, we're not gonna deal with this. We're bailing. So everyone leaves. And that is how I became the president of my HOA. And I don't want to be the president of my HOA because I really am kind of anti-HOA in general, but here we are. Somebody has to run it. Otherwise, the crazy people are gonna come back in. And yeah, so if you are living in an HOA, read your bylaws, read your CCNRs, and talk to your neighbors. Because if you've got some crazy people in your HOA, like it's supposed to be a democratic environment, and you should be able to get those people out. But you have to be ready to kind of take over and do things. So yeah, that is how that happened. And if you have any HOA questions, let me know because I am now an unwilling participant and expert on the subject. So, yeah.
Wow. A lot of people wasn't expecting this. This was a shocking story. We didn't see that ending coming. And that's the most fascinating part is that this was a situation that happens all the time. Not just for homeowners association, but this situation is universal. A lot of people can relate to that. Like how she was saying, the homeowner association president was giving her a hard time, which she shouldn't, because she's trying to do something special for her kids. She was trying to build a playset in her yard. And then this homeowner association president was giving her a hard time. And this is where it becomes universal. You may be dealing with a situation at your job, just a situation in general. You will just experience that somebody in power, soon as they get that position, or they can be there quite some time, just like to abuse their authority, just making up stuff saying they can do things and they really can't. Like how she was saying, they was just trying to find a way to deny her with Chris. And that's sad that this situation goes on all the time. Instead of just using humanity, a lot of people let their emotions get in the way because they feel like they're in this position and they want to use a form of power play. But like how she was saying, once that person gets enough complaints, they'll eventually remove that person. And she had to fight just for this person to become removed. And after all that chaos and what she had to go through just to get that president, that former president, removed from the association, it was just draining because I don't know if I would go through all that. I would probably relocate, like how she was saying, don't purchase a home through the home association. And that's just crazy how the story just turned, how she said she became the homeowner association president. She the new president. But at the end of the day, a lot of people seem like they like her better anyway. So it was the right decision. It all turned out for the better. But I didn't know people was going through this. But it's like everywhere you go, when you're dealing with people and their emotions, they don't do the situations that's logically right. It's based on how they feel. And like I always say, you have a right to feel how you want to feel. But that don't mean you're right. So how you feel. But people, they take that and they just want to debate it. And it's just emotional. You got to get out your feelings. So all this being caught up in this homeowner's emotions cost her her position. And then she was getting various complaints from people. In this situation, she was the common denominator. If everybody got a problem with you because you just trying to abuse things, just do things for no reason, and it's just like you just taking things overboard. Don't you just hate when somebody get in position and they just want to abuse their power, trying to take things overboard when they don't have to, just being extra? It makes you ask yourself, like, what are they doing that for? You're really not gonna get ahead. You're doing all that for nothing. You don't have to be this way, and you choose to be this way. That's terrible. You got people out here like that, and those type of people, you got to stay away from them because if they bring in problems like that at the job, they're just a problematic person. It's always an issue everywhere. Just kills your energy. But they have to be right within themselves in order to just grow. And people like that, they never tend to grow because they always make everything an issue because they get too emotional. They want to debate. They want to do all this. And that's just crazy. I think they made the right decision to remove this former homeowners association president because she wasn't good for the neighborhood. And I know it's sad, but you got people like that that's running these companies. And then all that being extra, when they get fired, that'd be the best day of employees' life or just members' lives in general. Just saying. Because they didn't need all that bad energy. And that's my take on this situation. There's people out here everywhere. Let me know what you think. Leave it in the comments. And I'm going to see y'all on the next one. Peace.